Hi, I'm Chibundu Onuzo, the author of The Spider King's Daughter. I actually don't have a copy of my first novel in English, so I lost all of them. So this is it in French. Let me not even try, but this is it in French. Author of Welcome to Lagos and author of Sankofa, which is forthcoming in the UK in June and in the US in October and in Nigeria at another point this year. So I've come to make this video to tell you how I found my literary agent, because a lot of people send me DMs and questions. How did you find an agent? How did you get published? And to be honest, it's very difficult to answer all these sort of questions one by one. So I have come to make this video once and for all, so nobody should ask me again. Anybody that asks me, come and watch this video. That's all. Okay, so first of all, why do you need a literary agent? So the first reason is, of course, if you want to self-publish, you don't need a literary agent. You can just go on Amazon or go to another self-publishing site and do all the sort of logistics by yourself. But if you want to get published by a traditional publisher, so like the HarperCollins, the Little Browns, etc., etc., if you want to go down that route, then most of these traditional publishers will not read what is called an unsolicited manuscript. So a manuscript that a writer just sends to them. Most of the time, no editor in that publishing house will read the book. They'll probably just shred it, and you don't want that for sort of the work that you've put a lot of hard work into. So generally, agents sort of serve as the gatekeepers. So they form relationships with editors at publishing houses, and then when you have an agent sends your work to an editor at a publishing house and says, oh, I think you should look at this, I think this is an author you would be interested in buying their work, etc., etc. So that's generally how agents work in the publishing industry, literary agents. The first step to finding an agent. Now, I meet a lot of people who will tell me, oh, that is really difficult to find an agent these days, that agents, they don't take manuscripts from these sort of people, they don't take manuscripts from that sort of people. And I'll be nodding, I'm thinking, okay. And then at a point when they pause in the conversation, I'll then ask, okay, so what's your novel about? And they'll say, oh no, I haven't started writing it. I say, you have not started writing your novel and you are worried about finding an agent. No, please, dears. Write the novel first before you start worrying about how difficult it is to find an agent. That's like being in primary school and worrying about university. Finish the one that is in front of you. So that's the first thing. Finish the book, especially if you're writing a novel. So sometimes for non-fiction projects, you can approach an agent with an idea and say, this is an idea that I want to research and write a non-fiction book about, and I'm qualified to write this non-fiction book because XYZ, and maybe I'm a historian, maybe I'm this or that, and they can take you on off the idea. But generally for novels, you have to have something to show. Generally, an agent won't sign you on just from an idea for a novel. They actually want to see the writing. So that's the first thing. Finish the book. Secondly, when you finish the book, don't just press send. So don't get to the end and be like, right, I can now approach all the agents I want to approach. I wouldn't advise that, because generally you only get one shot per manuscript with an agent. So let's say you haven't polished your manuscript, you just finish it and you press send. You send it to the agent, and the agent says, actually, this is not for us. If you come back 6 months later and you've now worked on the book and now you think actually it's a much better project and you think the agent will like it, generally they'll see the email, unless you pretend to be somebody else. They'll see the email and be like, but we rejected this book 6 months ago now. What has changed? So generally I would say give your manuscript the best possible chance with an agent. So polish the draft, edit it. How do you edit? How do you polish? So what I do is I send it to friends and families. Now, this is another thing I get asked a lot. People send me and say, oh, please, can you read my manuscript and review? Look, let me not lie to you. It is a lot of work. It is a lot of work to read like a 60,000 page manuscript and give feedback. And to ask a stranger to do that kind of work for you for free. It's difficult, so, it's difficult for me. So generally, what I do is I give it to my friends and family who already love me and are already interested in me. Till today, this is what I do. I send it to friends who are readers. So that's the only distinction I make. I don't necessarily give it to specialized readers, because my thinking is that the average person who does pick up your book isn't going to be an editor, isn't going to be another writer. They're just going to be somebody that's interested in reading and likes books. So I send it to my friends and family that are interested in reading and like books, and like, you know, I hear their feedback. So, you know, my brother-in-law, for example, Welcome to Lagos, when he read an early draft of it, he said, oh, there's too many characters, it's confusing. And that was really helpful and useful feedback. You know, he's not a specialized reader, he's not an editor, he's not an agent, but he's just somebody that reads. He's literate, he knows A, B, C, D, E, you know, and he can read a story and know when it makes sense. So find those people in your circle. And if you don't have them, create them, you know, find them online, and you guys can read each other's work and sort of give feedback and sort of give critique, etc., etc. So polish the book to the best of your ability. Another thing I do with polishing is I actually pay people now, because again, I know it's so much work. You know, it's so much work to read that volume and actually give sort of thought out feedback. So that's what I would say, is that I pay people that I think, well, I really want to hear what this person has to say on this novel, so I pay them as well. So I do a mixture of both. But you know, I've been writing, you know, since I was a teenager. So when I didn't have money, it's friends and family, it's friends that, I'm not saying I have money now, but when I really didn't have money then, it's friends and family. You use the people in your circle as opposed to thinking, you know, somebody far away and out there. Obviously, if you can get, you know, a writer to read it, that helps, but you don't have to. I didn't have that, and I still read it to a large extent. Don't have that. So now, when you've polished your manuscript to the best of your ability, so this is the book that helped me find the agent that I'm with. It's called the Writers and Artists Yearbook. So this is the 2006 version. 2006. Oh, that's 15 years ago. Teenage Chibundu. My sister, my older sister, Dilichi, bought this book for me. They publish it every year, so every year they update it. And it's basically the best how-to guide on how to get published. And I can't recommend it enough. So it has... So in the contents, these are some of the things that 15-year-old Chibundu underlined. As in, what type of teenager was I? My mates were doing GCSE and I was there. I mean, I'm actually very impressed with my 15-year-old self. I don't know if you can see it, but this camera is not that good. But you can, so these are some of the things I underlined. Do's and don'ts on approaching a publisher. Notes from a successful fiction author, because that's obviously what I wanted to be. Literary agents, UK and Ireland. The role of the literary agent, so on and so forth. So I went through the book like a serious Akada student that I was. And I actually went to the literary agent's listings. And I went through and highlighted. Again, you probably can't see it, but I highlighted. That's one I highlighted, yeah. I highlighted agents that I thought would be a good fit for me. And it was mostly through looking through the authors they already represented, looking at people they'd worked with. Generally, actually, the main thing I used when I was picking, looking at the kind of works that they were interested in. So, you know, there was no point me approaching an agent who specialized in children's books, because, you know, The Spider King's Daughter wasn't a book for children. You know, there was no point approaching an agent that was very interested in sci-fi, because my book wasn't a sci-fi novel. So I went through the agents that I thought that would fit the work that I was working on at the time, which was The Spider King's Daughter. And I circled them, and then I made a short list out of all these agents. And then I picked 3 at first to send to. I picked 3 because I was a teenager, I didn't have money. So postage and packaging was the real thing. And back in the day, you actually used to, instead of just sending like a PDF, you actually used to send physical, sort of the first 3 chapters, you know. And, you know, obviously then postage was by weight. So they'll weigh it and they'll charge you. So I could not send to like the 10 I shortlisted, because money no day. And fortunately for me, out of the 3 that I sent to, one of them ended up being my agent. So that's Georgina Capel. And she's still my agent today. So you go through, and I went through and I picked an agent and I sent to them. And I would really, really, really recommend this book, The Writers and Artists Yearbook. So obviously don't get the 2006 edition. You probably can't get it. Get the 2021 edition. And the last thing I would say is the sort of things to watch out for. So reputable agents don't actually, let me say this, they don't collect money. They don't collect reading fees. So if an agent is asking you, oh, when you send your manuscript, send £15 or send £100 for a reading fee, there are many agents that will read your work for free, because generally how agents make money is that when you eat, they take a commission. So it's usually between 12.5 to 15%. And I mean, for people who think that's high, they can try the self-publishing route. But what I would say is 100% of 0 is zero odo. So that's why I got an agent. And I generally find, actually, even apart from my sort of fiction writing, I do some journalism as well. So generally, when I negotiate by myself, and when my agent negotiates for me, they always negotiate more money, because they can be very aggressive on your behalf, because as you are eating, they are also eating. So generally, I think my agent is definitely worth the commission. And yeah, so that's the thing to watch out for. Reputable agents don't collect any money. So yeah, basically that's the end of this video. Just a quick short one about how to find a literary agent, how I found my literary agent. I will sum up. First, finish the book before you start thinking of approaching agents. Actually finish the book. Secondly, polish the book to the best of your ability before you submit. Third, look through a directory like the Writers and Artists Yearbook, or just Google, Google agents. Look at the end of novels, when a novel that you like, and check to see, most authors will thank their agent. Check to see who their agent is. Look online, Google them, approach them, and try and personalize your approach as well. Don't just press send to 50 agents. Like everybody likes to feel like this person that is writing to me has chosen me for XY reason. So try and personalize your sort of letter to them. And 4, reputable agents don't collect money. So if anybody's asking you for money up front to read your manuscript, run no. So that's it. I'm going to post this video on Instagram and YouTube. So if you're watching this on YouTube, subscribe to my channel. If you're watching this on Instagram, I guess follow me or whatever. And yeah, Sankofa is coming out on June 3rd. I'm so excited if you're in the UK, and in October in America, and sometime in Nigeria. Okay, bye guys. This is my first video. Wow. What you can do in a lockdown when there's time. Okay, bye guys.